This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. 250 households cry for aid as floods lash St. Mary. St. Mary's Central Member of Parliament, Dr. Maurice Guy, has appealed for state support after 3 days of torrential rainfall caused devastation across the northern parish. Neighboring St. Anne was also hit by flooding, especially in Runaway Bay, with the police station yard, the Jewel Hotel lobby, and the Colorado Staff College underwater. Approximately 250 households in the St. Mary capital, Portmore, were impacted by wide-scale flooding that damaged the furniture and electronics, Guy told the news on Tuesday. The immediate needs of the worst-affected residents, he said, are food, bedding, and a sanitizer. Guy said he had already reached out to Prime Minister Andrew Holness, outlining the difficulties faced by residents, some of whom are in dire need of bedding and other emergency supplies. The water has subsided and basically we are trying to clean up now. People are trying to put their lives back in order, said Guy. He said he expected the labor and the local government ministries to lead aid efforts for flood-hit households. The frontier area and the Puerto Maria housing scheme were adversely affected. The inclement weather also dealt a serious blow to basic infrastructure, which saw at least 4 communities in St. Mary being without electrical power and 1 in Portland. Some communities are also without water as a result of turbidity. Media and the public relations manager at the Jamaica Public Service Company, Audrey Williams, told the news on Tuesday during a telephone interview that the communities of Lighthouse, Berry Hill, Jackson District, and Hazard in St. Mary were without electricity, while Windsor Forest in Portland was also without power. Workmen are out in the various parishes. Those areas are impacted by the inclement weather conditions, she said. I don't have the specifics for each parish at this time, but our work crews are out in the parishes, although the rain is still falling. We will restore power as soon as it is safe to do so, she added. And the communications manager at the National Water Commission, Andrew Cannon, said that a number of systems were affected. Among the water treatment plants affected by turbidity in St. Mary were White River, Pottinger Spring, Lucky Hill, Pembroke Hall, Palmetto Grove, Rock Spring, and Martha Hall. Those affected in Portland included Mount Pleasant, Hope Bay, Windsor Forest, and Haining. Port Maria Mayor Richard Creary said that a lot of mud has been left behind as a result of the inundation of Port Maria's main thoroughfare. Commercial entities were directly impacted. We had a situation where canoes were being used to transport people from one point to the other, and there were other persons that were seen aboard the jet skis along the streets of Port Maria, which was transformed into a lake at least for a period, said Creary. Flooding also affected the Side, Jacks River, and Oracabessa. Probes ongoing into deaths of infant and a 9-year-old. Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitzbailey says a file will be sent to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions for guidance on how to proceed in the case involving the 1-year-old girl who died after being left for hours in her father's vehicle last month. That revelation was made during a Jamaica Constabulary Force press conference on Tuesday. A change in the routine of the toddler's father, Sergeant Sheldon Dobson, is said to have resulted in her death after he reportedly forgot to drop her off at daycare. The child was normally left in the care of her grandmother, but when the elderly woman fell ill, the infant was enrolled in daycare. Meanwhile, Bailey said the investigation into the slaying of 9-year-old Gabriel King was also ongoing. It is delicate and I do not want to make much comment. We are using our resources to ensure that whoever is responsible for the murder is brought to justice, he said. Gabriel was allegedly abducted from his mother along the Tucker Main Road in St. James on January 13 and later discovered with his throat slashed in the backseat of the stolen vehicle, which was abandoned off Fairfield Main Road in Montego Bay. Indicom investigating police firing at moving vehicle. The Independent Commission of Investigations has commenced an investigation into the discharge of a firearm by the police observed in a social media video highlighting a high-speed chase of a motorist along Mannings Hill Road in St. Andrew. During the video, shots are heard while the chase is ongoing. With the full cooperation of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the weapons of the police officers have been submitted to the laboratory for testing, and other investigative lines of inquiry are being undertaken. INDECOM says it categorically denounces actions of motorists who intentionally place the lives of passengers at risk, as well as other people along the thoroughfare. Such actions, the Commission says, can be deemed as reckless, irresponsible, and dangerous. With regard to the action of police officers who discharge their weapons while in pursuit of a moving vehicle, the Commission believes that law enforcement officers must display due regard and comply with the guidance provided by the JCF in their human rights and the police use of force and the firearms policy. INDECOM reiterates that the action of discharging a weapon by police officers should always be viewed as the deployment of deadly force, and that the potential for serious harm to others is increased, especially when movement is added. In 2019, INDECOM reported on compliance with use of deadly force policies and referenced that though use of force policies caution against firing at vehicles and the use of warning shots, there are two operational practices which still persist. The Commission urges the JCF to be more reflective of best practices and responsible in their duties of protecting the lives of the citizens they serve. Man fatally shot in Britain. A man known only as Shani Blacks was shot and killed by unknown assailants in the community of Brighton Phase 2 in Portmore, St. Catherine, yesterday afternoon. Reports are that at about 4 p.m., unknown gunmen approached Shani Blacks and shot him before escaping in a waiting motor vehicle. Superintendent Hopton Nicholson, operations officer for the St. Catherine South Police Division, told the news that Shani Blacks was a well-known underworld figure. He is the third person who has been killed in the Brighton community since November last year. According to statistics revealed by the Jamaica Constabulary Force, as of January 29, there have been 11 murders in the St. Catherine South Police Division, which represents an 83% increase over the corresponding period last year. Tanker drivers are set to get a first wage increase in years. Tanker drivers are set to get a rate increase after years of stalled wage talks. Wage negotiations with the Petroleum Tanker Drivers Association have been stymied since 2013 due to the dissolution of the Petroleum Haulage Contractors Association. Energy Minister Darrell Vaz told the House of Representatives on Tuesday that a joint petroleum working group set up last year to resolve the issues has now agreed on a minimum economic rate of $1,000 per hour based on the industry norms in relation to hazardous materials. He explained that this represents a 270% increase in relation to the lowest rate currently paid to tanker drivers, which was about $370 per hour, or the equivalent of $14,640 for a 40-hour work week. Mr. Vaz said the rates for haulage contractors and the tanker drivers were translated from hourly rates to a per-liter per-trip basis. Spike in corporate area construction projects served with a stop order. The number of building projects which have been served with stop orders following the intervention of the Kingston and the St. Andrew Municipal Corporation has increased to more than 10. Mayor of Kingston, Delroy Williams, says action was taken after building breaches were identified. Mr. Williams is expecting that the clampdown will result in improved compliance by developers. Motion passed in support of parish status for Portmore. The House of Representatives on Tuesday approved a motion to establish Portmore as Jamaica's 15th parish. This followed the conclusion of debate on the report of the Joint Select Committee, which considered the motion. Afterwards, Dr. Andrew Wheatley, MP for St. Catherine South Central, who chaired the committee, said he expects the process leading to Portmore being declared as a parish to be completed before the next local government election. The matter will now go to Cabinet for consideration, and if approved by that body, will then return to Parliament for the necessary statute to be enacted. The law establishing Portmore as a parish will also determine its boundaries as well as designate the capital of the new parish. The motion to establish the new parish was unanimously supported in the House after being debated during 2 sittings of the legislative body. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.